what's up, Loyola? Welcome to the Cover 3. I'm Brendan Highland, hosting, filling in for Rob Fredrickson. I'm with his boys, Mike Valenti, James Randazzo, the crew. On the Cover 3, we go over three main topics in sports, and today we're going to get right into it with the ALCS. Game 4 was played last night. Game 5 is actually going on right now. The Tigers are leading that game 3-2 in the bottom of the sixth. But last night, Mike, the Rangers 1-11, 7-4. Thoughts?
Rangers are the best team left in the playoffs. Their hitting is just tremendous. They always get big hits. You have Josh Hamilton, Michael Young. Now you see Nelson Cruz, who's like Lou Gehrig right now. Every time he gets up, he does damage. The grand slam. I look for the Rangers to finish this off in 6, and I look them actually to win the World Series because I don't see either Milwaukee or St. Louis keeping up with them. Even if the Rangers do have bad pitching or bad starting pitching, their bullpen is also great.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you 100%. I also have Texas in 6. I just think that Justin Verlander today, even though the game's going on right now, I just think he's too much. I mean, he just proved that he's MVP. And also Nelson Cruz, the guy is unbelievable, just clutch performer, and he actually tied the postseason record for number 7 hitter with home runs. I mean, he's just hitting the ball crazy right now.
Cruz is playing great. You said that lineup, even though the pitching isn't what you would usually need it to be, but with the way they hit the ball and the lack of other good teams in the playoffs.
I mean, since August hit, they've probably been the best team in baseball, and they've been just tearing the cover off the ball, and now you see it in the playoffs. And they've been the hottest team coming in, and now they're probably going to win the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, Cruz, after last night's game, 4 of his 5 hits of the series were home runs. And he had that great throw last night to get Cabrera out at the plate and save the game for them, so he's playing big. On the other side, though, the National League Championship Series is also going on. Game 3 was last night. St. Louis won that game. Game 4 is tonight. What do you think?
This is almost reminiscent of when the Cardinals in 2006 went to the World Series and won the whole entire thing. They snuck into the playoffs again this year. They're pretty hot coming in as well, and they're playing great right now. Carpenter's been tremendous his last 2 outings, getting them big wins. And right now they're also getting big hits from Pujols, who's on a tear right now as well. I think the Cardinals are actually going to win this series in 7 games because now you're going to have Carpenter pitch Game 7. He's a big game pitcher. And even their bullpen is now revamped. Their closer's Mott. He's great. He throws absolute gas. I look to see the Cardinals and the Texas Rangers in the World Series.
I'm going to have to disagree with you. I think the Brewers are going to take it in 7. Even though Carpenter would be starting Game 7 and he's 5-0 on 5 days rest in the past 5 games, he's playing unbelievable. I just think that, you have Gallardo pitching another game and Greinke pitching another game, and I think that's 2 wins right there. And I just still think that the Brewers' offense is more powerful right now with Braun and Fielder in the middle of the lineup. So I'm going to say Brewers in 7, but it really is just real close.
My problem with the Brewers right now is they're leaving a lot of men on base. They're getting up first and second. Last night, biggest part of the game, Ricky Weeks strikes out for second and third, I believe, in the 5th inning. That was the biggest at-bat of the game. They wound up losing. So unless Milwaukee starts hitting with runners in scoring position, they're not going to win the series.
Yeah, and I would just agree with that. I think that St. Louis will win the series, but I do think that it will go back to Milwaukee. Now, for teams that aren't playing in the playoffs right now, there has been big news, especially for you New Englanders. Boston Red Sox, Terry Francona fired, Theo Epstein to the Cubs. Boys, what does this mean? As Yankees fans, what do you think of all this Red Sox drama?
This is absolutely crazy. There are 3 managers that I think are right for the job for the Red Sox to bring them back, and the first person is Bruce Bochy, who led the Giants to the World Series last year. He doesn't have a long-year contract, and he is a West Coast guy, but he is a big fan of the Red Sox. And the second guy is Bobby Valentine. Just after this whole players coach and Terry Francona, I feel like they need a disciplinarian, and especially with there now reports that that the starting pitchers are drinking.
Yeah, the heavy
during
drinking
on their off days, but still just getting wrecked in the clubhouse, which is kind of ridiculous. And I just really think they need a disciplinarian, and Bobby Valentine could be right for the job. And the third guy, Joe Torre, maybe. There are reports that they're really reaching out to him right now, and that would just cause a huge controversy between the Red Sox and Yankees Nation.
For me, I think the perfect guy is Bobby V. He is a disciplinarian. That's what the Red Sox need. I think Joe Torre and Bruce Bochy are too similar to Terry Francona. They're both guys that like to deal with egos and stuff. That's what they handle. And I think Bobby V doesn't take any of that, and he'll get this team in line. And if Joe Torre goes to Red Sox, I know he'll probably go in as a Yankee, as a manager, but that'll completely ruin his reputation. Especially being a Yankee fan.
Yeah, how would you guys personally feel as Yankee fans if Joe Torre did indeed go to the Red Sox?
Well, my thing is, the only reason why he would go there is to get money at this point in his career. I mean, the Red Sox would probably have to throw a lot of money at him to go there, and that's why he would go.
I mean, would you think any differently of him, though?
Yeah, I would feel a little betrayal.
Would you?
Definitely. I just think that money's the issue here, and if he gets enough money, he'll probably go there.
Yep.
And were either one of you guys surprised that Francona was fired or that Epstein left?
I wasn't surprised that Francona left, but I was a little surprised that they would let Epstein go. He did win 2 World Series with them. He did build a good team. It's not his fault that his team didn't play well and his pitching staff got decimated. But I could see Francona leaving because at some point you do need a change, and the manager usually goes first. But I'm actually shocked that both of them left.
I'm shocked also, but I'm not as shocked with Epstein. He just seems like a sketchy character that is always looking for the best way out, and the Cubs look like a good job for him because they're doing so bad that all I can do is go up from here.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. But I was surprised, to say the least, to see both of them leave Beantown. But now we're going to switch gears, switch it up a little bit, head on to the NFL. And guys, the Detroit Lions, 5-0. What's going on with them? They had a big win on Monday Night Football this week over the Bears. And how good is this team? I mean, can they be the best team in the NFC, and how long will they stay unbeaten?
I don't think the Packers are the best team in football. There's no question that. But I think this team is definitely a wild card team. I think this team might go 11-5, which is very good for them. They have a lot of young talent. Maybe in 2 or 3 years, they might be the best team in the NFC. But right now, they're definitely a wild card team, and they look very good on defense too. It's completely changed. You know, a couple of years ago, you saw the Patriots on Thanksgiving beat them by 40 points.
Yeah.
Now, 2 years later, it's completely different. Like I said before, they have so much talent, and this team is definitely a wild card team.
Yeah, I mean, you just said 11-5. That means they're only going to go 6-5 for the rest of the year. I don't know. I think they're better than that. They probably still will be a wild card team because Green Bay is the best team in the NFL. There's no doubt about that. And then you just look, how long will they stay unbeaten? They have San Fran this week. They have Atlanta next week. And then they have a lot of bad teams. And then they have Green Bay at Week 12 at Thanksgiving. And you know what? I think I'm just going to ride the bandwagon right now and say that they're not going to lose till Week 12.
So you're saying now that they'll be 10-0 because their
10-0.
buys in there. So it'll be 2 10-0 teams on Thanksgiving Day matching up in the Lions and the Packers.
Yes.
Possibly for the division too.
Wow, that would be something. And to shift it back into the AFC, Patriots beat the Jets. Pretty close game, but kind of dominated by the Patriots. Jets are now 2-3. James, do you think there's reason to worry for Jets fans?
Yeah, I really do think there's reason to worry. They're not the same Jets that we saw last year, on offense and on defense. They have failed to get 100 yards 3 times this year. And the last 2 seasons, they failed 3 times to get 100 yards. So in the 32 games they played, they failed only 3 times. And now this year, they've already failed 3 times. And that's just showing that they're not a ground and pound team like they used to be. Mm-hmm. And they're relying on Mark Sanchez more, which is fine. But their defensive line is also giving up a lot of yards. I think they're 28th in giving up yards.
Yeah.
So it's just bad.
I think the play calling's terrible. I went to the Raven-Jet game a couple weeks ago. I did not see a wide receiver run a pattern more than 20 yards the entire game. So now if I'm a defense, I sit in the zone, and I know they're not going to be able to run the ball, so they're going to try to throw quick, short passes.
And that's all day.
And that's easy for a defense. I mean, Sanchez, he is talented, but it's time to take the training wheels off him. And you're right, they are not a pound and ground team anymore. So they need to start opening up games with the pass, start throwing the ball down the field to open up games for them. And the play calling is terrible. I think Schottenheimer should have been fired after last year. So for me, a panic meter for the Jets right now is definitely a 6 or a 7. And another thing, too, is they just traded Derek Mason. So now they're giving that kid Curley a shot as their slot receiver. So we'll see what happens.
Is there a playoff team?
I still think they sneak in, but I don't think they're going to be able to do what they did the last 2 seasons going all the way to AFC Championship game.
I would agree with you.
Okay. Very interesting. And now, Mike, we're going to talk about your team a little bit. And the Eagles, they lost to the Bills, and that brought them to 1-4. Mike, what were your thoughts on the Eagles' performance in Buffalo?
Once again, they turned the ball over. A lot of stupid turnovers. And you saw at the end of the game, too, Jaquay Parker jumps off sides when they know they're going to make you jump off sides. Like, those are the little things that are making the Eagles lose games. They outgained the Bills by over 200 yards. They had over 500 yards in total offense, and they lose that game. The Bills scored 17 points off turnovers. That's why Eagles lose. Jason Avant also got 2 balls ripped out of his hand in big situations, which also turned the tide of the game. So, and on defense, too, they looked a little better because the Bills did nothing in the second half. But for the Eagles to get better, the stupid plays, stupid turnovers, and just not paying attention. The coaching staff, too. I mean, jumping off sides like that, that's coaching.
Yeah, we might have to get you on a Grinds by Gear segment about the Eagles because the dream team is done now. Everyone knows it. The Bills actually look real nice right now. Fitzpatrick's, the Harvard boy, is just showing that he can be a quarterback in this league, and I like them a lot. And the wild card is going to come down to the Jets-Bills, so just stay tuned in for that.
And what for you guys, which is more surprising, the success, the 4-1 start for the Bills, or the almost demise and the disappointment of the Philadelphia Eagles starting 1-4? James, I'll go to you.
I think it's the Eagles going 1-4. After there was just so much hype this summer that I personally just believed in all the hype. Even as a Giants fan, I thought the Eagles were going 14-2, and you know, I don't even have any words to say.
Could I say both? I think both are surprising. I didn't think the Bills would be 4-1, maybe 2-3. I mean, they do have some talent, but you know, also the Eagles, they're a terrible start. The turnovers, it's embarrassing. It really is. And the worst part about it is that no one talks about is the Eagles play a wide 9 defense that has the 2 ends spread all the way out. So the run game is just going to gash them. And they also have an ex-offensive line coach as their defensive coordinator. So that 1-4 start makes a lot of sense right now.
Yeah, that's a bit ridiculous in my opinion. But that was in the past. Now we're going to look ahead. Week 6 preview. Guys, the Lions and the 49ers. The Lions are 5-0. The 49ers are 4-1. Both are probably the 2 surprise teams of the NFC right now. They're matching up this week in Detroit. Who you got, Mike?
I'm actually going to pick the 49ers. I think the 49ers have a great defense, one of the best in the NFL, led by probably the best linebacker, too, Patrick Willis. I like how Alex Smith is playing, too. He's not turning the ball over. And they're calling it now the Harbaugh effect, where he just gets his players ready to play every week. And you know what? They came back, beat the Eagles, and last week they demolished Tampa Bay, who's a pretty good young team. So I'm going to look for the 49ers to actually beat the Lions and make the Lions get their first losses.
Well, you already know how I feel about the Lions. I really think they're going to be undefeated till that Thanksgiving game. But the 49ers are playing out of their mind right now. Frank Gore, we have to mention, even though he is the past, the future, and the present, I mean, I really just think that the 49ers are a good team, and I think they're going to be a wild card team this year too.
Well, maybe not even a wild card. They might win that division because that division,
is
once
terrible.
again, is the worst in football.
It's
and
awful.
For a few years now, the Niners have had the most talent on that team. It's just getting consistent quarterback play, and maybe Harbaugh has finally found that with Alex Smith.
Yeah.
It's true.
I was going to take the Lions to win this game, but I do think that Alex Smith is just playing probably the best football of his career right now.
Definitely.
But the Lions are just too good on offense. That defensive line is incredible, and I think they're really going to get after it. Game's in Detroit. I'm picking the Lions. I think Matt Stafford and Calvin Johnson have a big day. Another big game, Cowboys, Patriots. Cowboys coming off the bye week. Patriots coming off that big emotional win over the Jets. Games in New England. James, who you got?
I got the Patriots again. I believe they're the best team in the AFC right now. The Cowboys look terrible right now, to say the least, and I just don't think that they have even their hype is just too overpowerful right now, and they're not going to win a game for a couple of weeks right now looking at their schedule.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to go with the Patriots, too, by double digits in this game. I think it's going to be close until the fourth quarter, and then you might see Tony Romo turn the ball over again. And I don't think the Cowboys' defense is good enough really to stop that spread offense in New England. Their secondary is pretty weak, and they really can't stop anyone through the air. So I'm going to pick the Patriots. They're at home by at least 10 points.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Patriots, too. I think that the Patriots are going to win by about 2 touchdowns. I think that, like you said, Brady's just going to gash the Cowboys, and I think that Romo's kind of just going to choke, as he's been doing recently. So I think it'll be a good game, though. Last game we're going to preview, Bills at the Giants. Giants coming off a disappointing loss to the Seahawks last week in New York. Bills coming off that big win, kind of riding the high still. James, who you got?
I got the G-Men at home. I think this is the week that they bring their team back together. They're going to bring the ground and pound offense. Brandon Jacobs looks like he will be able to play this week. And all they really have to do is run the ball, don't turn the ball over, and punt it. If they win the turnover ratio, they have won the past 10 games doing that.
I'm going to have to pick the Giants as well. I still don't buy into the Bills. The Bills, I believe the last 4 games have given up more than 450 yards of total offense to whoever they're playing. I think it's going to be kind of a shootout because the Giants, too, do give up a lot of yards. But the Giants are at home. As long as Eli is not typical Eli the last 2 years, the Giants win this game.
I'm going to have to disagree with both of you. I'm going to ride the Bills bandwagon. Ryan Fitzpatrick, that opportunistic defense, mixing a little Fred Jackson here and there. I got the Bills moving on 5-1 after this week.
Interesting.
Last segment, we got fantasy studs from this past week. Mike, who did well in your fantasy league?
I'm going to take Sebastian Janikowski, the offensive lineman, who's a kicker. He had 20 points, kicked a lot of huge field goals, 3, I believe, from 50 yards in one game. That's awesome for a field goal kicker. And like we saw a couple weeks ago, he was kicking field goals from 73 yards during pregame. So this guy is just, if you want to call him a beast for a field goal kicker, he's a beast.
James?
Yeah. I like Pierre Garçon. I mean, I was playing against him this week in fantasy, and he was the reason why I lost. He had 5 catches, 125 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and I'm pretty upset about it.
I like your pick of Janikowski. I'm going to go with Ben Roethlisberger, although I hate the Steelers. Roethlisberger had a big game. He went 24-34, 5 touchdowns, 228 yards. He killed it. So now for the preview, who's your fantasy stud for this upcoming week?
I'm going to take Tom Brady versus that Dallas Cowboys defense. Like I said before, they can't really stop anyone through the air. If the Cowboys want to win, DeMarcus Ware and Anthony Spencer are going to have to get constant pressure. They're probably going to have 2 best games of their lives, which I don't see happening. And Tom Brady's going to have huge numbers, maybe 400 yards passing in that game.
I'm going to go with Curtis Painter, the man with the flow, against the Bengals. He had a great week last week, and I think he's going to continue it. So if you have one of those bye weeks with your quarterbacks, pick Painter up. He's going to have a good week.
Very nice pick. I'm going to go with Calvin Johnson against the 49ers defense. He's been tearing it up. He leads the league in touchdowns with 9. I think he has another big week. So
it doesn't matter who they play. Calvin Johnson might be the best in football now.
Yeah, he's a freak of nature. This is the best show on Loyola Television. And with that, we are done, finished. Loyola, enjoy your fall break. See ya.